Hey everybody, Kathy here with Paint Pouring by Kathleen Miller. I've been getting some comments that people want to know my mixing recipes for different paintings that I do in my creations. So I thought, okay, as long as I have a little bit of free time today, I'm going to show you exactly what I use and what I do with my painting. So I have this set out for my glue and water recipe. This is set out for my Floetrol paint and water recipe. Here's my handy dandy little scale. So let's get started. I already have my glue poured out and my water just to save a little bit of time, but you always want to use the Elmer's Glue All. You don't want to use the school glue. You want to use this one.
And distilled water.
Correct, distilled water. So what I do is, I turn on my scale, I have it on my mLs, put that on, got to put it back to 0.
Now this is going to be your 70-30?
Correct,
Okay.
Glue recipe.
Okay.
My pouring medium for my paints, which is the 70-30. So I'm going to go 70 with my glue first. And this goes pretty fast, so you don't have to be exact, but try to be the closest that you are, because otherwise it won't mix right. Come on. Okay, we did 71. That's okay. It's a little bit over, but it's fine.
Okay, so now then you reset your scale.
You reset
to
it
0.
to 0. Now I'm going to pour in my 30 of my water. And like I said, it goes pretty fast. .3. That's just fine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this up, because this is your pouring medium.
Now when I do this for Kathy, she likes to make big quantities, so I double and triple it. Instead of 70-30, I'll use 140 and 60 or 210 and 90. And that's the same ratio. It's just you can make bigger batches quicker that way.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. A lot easier. Okay, so this is my pouring medium now. So now, and you can see it's really, really runny. That's what you want. Because this, you can either make it thinner with your paints, or you can make it thicker. And I'm going to show you what I do next. So I take a cup like this.
Okay, so now you got your pouring medium. Now you're going to mix it with your paint.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I usually start out with probably 40
And you use your scale
mLs.
for this too.
Yes.
Okay.
40 mLs. I mean, you can even go, I will go 50. Doesn't really matter, because you'll get it to your right consistency that you want. And I'll show you the consistency that I like. Woo, one more drop, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, was it exact? See, I usually don't. I can just eyeball it now. So this is so fun because I don't really measure exact. Okay, now I have 50.2 of my pouring mixture, which is my glue and my water. Now I have my paint, which is, you can use any of your paints. It doesn't matter. I'm just picking one color that I don't have made up. I'm going to go, that's 50. I'm going to start out probably with 35 because this is a thicker paint.
Yeah, because different paints have different thicknesses and so forth. You can't always use the exact same formula
No.
every time. This is sort of a guideline, and I think you make your final decision after you add the paint and stir it
I do.
on the consistency that you
Okay. Now,
feel is
we're going to
correct.
stir this. And I'll show you if it's a little bit too thick or if it's a little bit too thin, what you can do. But now, I go by the consistency that I like. You might want yours a little bit thicker or a little bit thinner. That's totally up to you, but this is how I like my paints. Now, if you do a swipe, you want your paints a little bit thicker than thinner. Not much. But that's another thing. I just eyeball mine, so I can't give you the exact amount that I do.
Well, this is your starting point,
It is.
and then
I just
you
go
kinda
from there.
and sometimes actually, once you put the paint on the canvas, you realize that it was either too thick or too thin. Sometimes, I mean, it's not an exact science,
And now with the 70 and the 30, I always use a cell activator. And that I either put in 1, 2, or 3 drops. It's totally up to you. If you don't want a lot of cells, don't put in a lot of.
So after you show some of these other things, you'll show a little bit on the cell activator then too.
Well, you just add it.
Oh, I see. Oh, like the silicone, like the Helmers?
Correct, the
I
Helmer
see.
silicone.
Oh, Helmers or the Sanja?
Yes.
Okay.
Or, the coconut oil.
I see. Oh, I see.
Any of these.
Yeah.
You can use the coconut milk, the Helmers. You can use the Spot On treadmill.
I see. So
Okay,
that's
so-
what you meant. Okay.
This is the consistency that I like my paint. It leaves a mound, but it disappears. So that was 50 of the glue and water and 35 of the paint. Now, that's the Amsterdam paint. A lot of times your golden paints are a little bit thicker. So you might have to thin it with more of your pouring medium of the glue and the water combination. But this is exactly how I like these. So can you see that really good, Phil?
Yeah, you can see that. You can see how it hits the surface, stays just for momentarily. And then
And
disappears.
it drips off here just like
Right.
honey.
Okay.
So that is the one pouring medium that I do with the paints. Okay, where am I going to put this? Oh, we'll just put it right there. And my nose is running. My nose has been running all day, people. It's my allergies. Okay. Now, we're going to go to the Floetrol mixture. I cannot stress enough. Have your little strainer and strain your Floetrol, because if you don't, you're going to get little grubbies and little boogers, and it's amazing the stuff that you get in it, right, Phil?
Yeah, it is.
You wouldn't think. And make sure you shake it first. I already strained my Floetrol, so everyone would know. I always use the Artist Loft Flow Acrylic White paint in this. My base paint that I use on my canvases is the same mixture as I mix with my colored paints. So this is my base paint, and I always mix up a bunch of this and put them in here, because that way I can just dump it right on my canvases. So I mix my paint, my Floetrol, my paint, and my water. So I'm going to do that and show you now how I'm going to do this.
So, I see. Yeah, this is a.
Okay, so now this is the mLs again. I'm taking 80 mLs of Floetrol.
Okay, so this is the 80-40-30 mixture you mentioned sometimes.
Correct.
Okay, so starts out with 80 milliliters of Floetrol.
Correct.
Okay,
And it's American Floetrol.
okay.
Oh, right on the money almost. 80.1. Okay, we go back to 0. Now we add our 40 mLs of our paint. And once you get the hang of this, it's very, very easy.
Even somebody like me can do it.
Phil usually does a lot of my base mixtures and stuff because it takes so much time that he has more time to do that than I do because I mix all my other stuff. Now I have 30 mLs of my distilled water. Got 32, but that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to mix this up. And this is all that's really to it. This is your base for your canvases. If you want to do a different color for your base, just replace the 40 mLs of the white with your choice of colors.
Oh, I see.
You can have a black base, gold base, a silk, any color that you want, that can be your base, but you use the same mixture.
So you're replacing this flow acrylic, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Which is white, and if you want it colored, you just use the paint.
color.
Okay,
Right.
I see.
Now, what I do with my paint is I either mix them in a cup or I mix them in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up another one, but I'll show you this because I can pour this in my cup.
Yes.
This one is also very runny. You want it runny for your base.
This actually looks a little more runny than your other
The glue.
combination. Yes. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So now
so
you've got
That will
those
go with the
two
Floetrol.
different types of bases. Is that what we call them?
That's a base.
That's a base?
No, it's a pouring medium.
Pouring. Oh, I'm sorry. Pouring medium. Okay.
Correct. But this is your base. With this one, that is not your base.
Okay.
That's your pouring medium
Okay.
for your
right.
colors.
I don't want to get people mixed up. I'm
Right.
trying to understand this myself. So
zip
Kathy
it
will
for a minute.
Kathy will correct me. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to show you how to mix the colors.
Okay.
You're going to mix them exactly the same way. So we're going to go 80 of our Floetrol. And I like to pour my Floetrol into like this cup because even if I don't use all of it, I can dump it right back in. Okay, now I'm going to take my turquoise blue. I'm going to go 40.
So I don't want to confuse people, but now this is a colored pouring medium you're making.
No,
Oh,
Phil,
okay.
no. Let me explain this when we're done.
Well,
Now I'm
I'd
doing
like
the
to kind
water.
of know what you're making while you're
I'm gonna-
making it, but okay.
Okay, it's the same thing as my base, only it's with my colors. You mix this up, same thing, and you can see all, Phil can show you all my containers over there, all my colors. It's the same thing as I'm mixing.
Okay, oh, that goes in here. Okay.
Correct.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay. Now I'm understanding.
I know, you
It's
have
the-
to
it's
let
the
me
actual-
explain first.
It's the actual paint you use. paint
Correct.
colors that you use out of those bottles. Okay.
Correct. And you can do it as your Dutch pour. You can do it, you can use that in so many things. It does not work well with a swipe because it's too thin.
Okay.
But if you want to do your Dutch pours and blow them out with your dryer and stuff, this is perfect. So what I usually do after this, I usually put them in here and shake it. Put the lid on and away you go. If you don't have these bottles, you can leave it in your cup and just cover it with some cellophane. It'll be absolutely fine. You can also put silicone in this if you want, but the Floetrol will produce cells. You do not need to put any silicone in here if you don't want to. Okay, Phil, question?
No, no, not really.
Okay.
I've been wrong 100% of the time so far, so we'll see what's next.
Okay, so we're finished with this part of our stuff.
Okay, so what you've done is you've made pouring mediums, 2 types of pouring mediums, right?
Yes, I made.
And then you made paint for the
Correct.
bottle. Okay, all right.
Correct. We don't need our water anymore. We don't really need this because I'm trying to get rid of this stuff over here so I can bring up my next batch of stuff and show everyone what we're going to do next. Because
Okay.
the next thing what we're going to do is, this is for just your regular pours, for pouring medium. This is your regular pours. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up our pouring stuff for our base on our paints for the bloom technique. This is a Sheely Art bloom technique that we're doing next. So I will bring these up and show you what I use. Okay, this. Okay. Now I have a whole bunch of things to show everyone here. This can go over here. We don't need this, but I need this to show you. Gonna have this. We're gonna have this. 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 Okay. All right, now, what I use on my base for my bloom technique is the Color Art or the Color Place paint from Walmart. I change off. I like the satin and I also like the semi-gloss. It's your choice. If you don't use what I'm telling you that I use, you're not going to get the same thing that I get. If you use what I use and have my consistency, you will get the same result I get. So for my pigments, what I do is I take, and this does not go on the scale, so I'll just put that aside. I use my 15 ml spoon and my teaspoon of 5 mLs. What I do is, I'm just going to demonstrate right on this
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
fine.
tall.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to take my choice that I use 99% of the time is 15 mLs of Rust-Oleum and 15 mLs of the Vivid Enamel. And the Vivid Enamel you can only get through Color Art. So, where's my little stick? Okay,
So that's right out of the can.
right out of the can.
Okay.
So that's my 15 mLs of my Rust-Oleum.
Rust-Oleum triple thick polyurethane. Okay.
Correct. And I just put that into this little hoohinky cup. Then I take my Vivid Enamel. And I have 15 mLs of that.
That cup is by the way, the cup is a 3 1/4 ounce cup.
But you
Yeah,
don't
Kathy's.
you don't need that size cup if you don't want it. You can mix this in anything.
Well, I know, but that's convenient if that's all the paint you're going to be using. It's a nice size.
Yeah. Now some people just put them in the little Dixie paper cups so that they can I don't know, throw them away. But with this, the reason I like to put them in here is because once your pigments are gone, all you have to do is put your stick in and leave it uncovered, and it'll pull right out. I have one over there. I'll show you after I mix this. So what I do is I mix this now
Okay, those are the two ingredients: Vivid Enamel and Rust-Oleum.
for the pigments.
Okay, so you get that mixed up first.
Now I'll probably get some feedback because I don't use a respirator to mix my pigments. Feel free to use a respirator. They say that you should use a respirator. I do not, but that's just my preference. Okay, now I have this little dinky spoon. What I do is, now this is the new Color Art Bling It, and this is the Extreme Pastel Light. This color is Firefly. And when you see the colors, a lot of times they don't look like the container. So it's a good idea maybe to mix it and then dab your finger in it and put it on the top so you know exactly what color it is. I want to be careful because this is brand new. Okay, this is what the pigments look like. I like a lot of color in my pigments, so what I do is I use a pretty good hefty amount.
Yeah, about 3/4.
Yeah.
More than 3/4 of the spoon. Okay.
And then what I do is I stand back and I just kind of like get it all covered up. And then I start mixing very slowly. Then I go a little bit faster. And those are my colors that I mixed up yesterday. Phil can show you right there on the table. After,
Right there.
yeah, that's actually for a
Okay.
project that I'm going to be doing.
So these are the pigments you made up yesterday,
Correct.
correct? Are those the pigments for the wine rack coming up?
Are you giving them a hint which one won?
No, no. Or
Well, that's a good thing because those are the colors. So I'm sure who's ever watching this has a pretty good idea what color won.
well,
Okay, so as you can see, this is called Firefly. And then look at the color.
it's sort of a creamy gold or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the consistency that you want.
Now, do you like to make those up a day ahead of time?
I make them up A day ahead of time, a week ahead of time.
Okay. But you try to make them up a little bit ahead of time
Correct.
for bubbles and stuff, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's better if you make them up like the day before.
Okay.
I don't always have the patience to wait because
So that's all you have to do to make your different colored pigments that you use, correct?
for the
Same-
pigments.
Same.
That's my consistency and what I use 99% of the time. If I can give you other options. Like another option is you can use the deep base paint, 3 ounces of the untinted deep base paint, and I got this at Walmart. And then you can use 1 part of your polyacrylic clear gloss. You can mix that into a cup like this. Put the same amount of pigment that I showed you on my spoon, mix it up, and that is your pigment mixture. Now, if you want to use the same pouring medium that I just used of my Vivid Enamel and my Rust-Oleum, all you have to do is, I don't know if I have enough of this out, but I'll show them with the paint. Okay, we're going to use the 15 mLs again of the Rust-Oleum. Wait, I got to get a different one. I don't want to mix that.
So,
This is going to be for the paint mixture. That
oh,
the
that
other
was
one
for-
I just did
was the
was
pigment.
for the pigment.
Okay, now I understand.
But I
Okay.
can use the same pouring medium for paints, and you can mix your pigments and you can mix your paints with the Shealy Art. I might not have enough Vivid Enamel in
Well,
here.
it's a demonstration, so just,
I know I got to get this
Oh,
because I
I
don't
see.
have enough.
okay.
Ugh, sometimes this cap gets stuck too. Okay. So now we're just going to get 15 mLs of this. 'Cause remember, we have the 15 mLs of the Rust-Oleum. Now we're going to have the 15 mLs of the Vivid Enamel. We're going to mix these two together. And you don't want to get mixed up with the pigments, the bloom technique with the regular, because the mLs are the spoons, not the scale. Or you'll have so much going on, you're going to go, oh, that didn't work. Okay, so that is that. 15 and 15 for your paints.
So then you put the paint in, right?
Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this first. See, I usually don't stir this because I put the paint in and I mix it all. So now I have to be exact because this is how you're really supposed to do it.
Yeah, don't cut any corners here on us.
Can't cut any corners. Okay, now I'm going to take my paint and I'm going to, what color do I have here? Oh, I don't
Well,
want
it doesn't matter.
No, I don't want to do that color. We'll do this color because this is usually what I do with these paints. So, I'm going to take like a little pea size. 1 and 2 of those. If you want to add any type of an iridescent, you can get this at Michael's. It's Artist Loft, and it's the iridescent, just
Medium. Okay,
clear.
iridescent medium, okay. So You put the 2 little pea sizes of paint. Now, if you want to add iridescent medium, how much is
Just
that?
a pea size.
Or just one more pea size?
Or you can just do one of the paint and one of the pea size
Okay.
iridescent.
Okay.
Okay, so now you can see, okay, I'm going to show you. This is our pigment.
That's the pigment. Okay.
Okay, see how it just,
Mm-hmm.
that's the consistency that you want. It disappears.
Okay.
That's your pigment. Now you're going to see a difference in your paint. See how thick it is?
Yeah, it is definitely thicker, yes.
Yes, it's a lot thicker. So what you do, you take your Josana varnish. Use the same pouring medium as your pigments, only to thin your paint, put some Josana varnish in it.
Couple drops?
Couple drops to
Okay.
your consistency
All
that
right,
you want.
I see. So,
That's
okay.
the only difference.
yeah, I was always wondering why you added that to the paint, but that's
It's to thin it.
To thin it. Okay. All right.
And you know, you can keep adding more and more. That's why you only add a little bit at a time. But you can see already that it's starting to
Yes.
disappear.
Yeah, starting to look more like the consistency of the pigments. Okay.
Okay. That is my pigments and my paint demonstration. Next, we're going to do our cell activator. And what that is, I gotta wipe this up because this is a whole different thing again. With this, you use your, I have so many recipes, it's not even funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, for my cell activator, I use 1 ounce of the American Floetrol. So I'm going to put that on a scale so everybody can see it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I'll get my scale here. Ugh. Turn it on. Go all the way to my ounces. Okay.
Okay, so this is, you're working on the cell activator.
This is my cell activator.
Okay. And you're putting on, what are you putting in there now?
This is my American Floetrol.
Okay. And how much?
1 ounce.
1 ounce of American Floetrol. Okay.
Whoop. Okay, now I take my teaspoon and I do 1 teaspoon, and I use the oxide black. You can use the carbon black by Golden. You can use the lamp black by Amsterdam. Any of your choice, and you can mix this color
So this,
into this as well if you want to do a different color activator.
right. So this is your black cell activator that you're doing at the moment.
Correct, with the American
Okay.
Floetrol.
All right.
Okay.
And this is something, it seems like, I could be wrong on this, but the fresher you make it, or if you use it sooner rather than later, it seems to work better.
Yeah, I usually make mine up only a couple days ahead.
At the most, yes.
Mm-hmm. And this is your cell activator. Everybody asks me, oh, what's that special black that you use? This is what we do. And this is for your bloom. And you have to stir and stir and stir this and make sure you get your sides But stir, 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 stir. I hope I explained this pretty well.
One more question I have now. If it was a white cell activator, you simply use
White, the titanium white.
Amsterdam titanium white. Okay.
Correct. If
All
you
right.
want a gold, you use a gold color.
Okay.
If you want burgundy, use some burgundy.
Yeah, I think you've, I know I've learned some things while you've done this, even though I've watched you hundreds of times doing this stuff. I've never really watched you make a lot of this stuff, or prepare a lot of this stuff. So
This is why I'm up in my room for
Exactly,
hours. Okay, and I'm
exactly.
going to show everybody this. Now watch.
it's a
If
little.
it's if
I
it's
see.
like elastic.
Well, it's hard to see because you have black on.
Oh, here.
Yeah, put it to the side.
But see, I have to keep mixing
know.
this because
Here, I know.
boop boop.
Oh yeah,
Boop.
okay, I see.
If you have an elastic
Like
consistency,
snapback.
yes, you have the right consistency. If it doesn't snap back to your liking, keep stirring because you have to stir this really, really well. And
So
like
with,
I said, you can use, the white titanium white as well.
so with these formulas or recipes, I guess you'd call them, people can do pretty
There we
much anything with the paint pouring using these different recipes.
Correct. You can do your 70-30 with your swipes. Just get your consistencies, thicker for your swipes, thinner for others that you want to do like a pour or something. The 80-40-30 of the Floetrol, the paint, you can use that for numerous things. So I hope everybody has enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to do it, and I'm glad I did it for everyone now. So Phil will upload this, and feel free to ask me questions if you didn't get something, but it should be all in black and white now. So until the next video, please subscribe to our channel. We have new things going on all the time, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye.